Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to SA Accounting Academy. Here's a short clip on one of our previous webinars. I hope that you really do enjoy it.
Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone is online already. I'm Edith Wilkins from Secretary, and it's my pleasure to present this webinar to you today, and I hope that it will be of some value to you. Our topic is the compliance in terms of the Companies Act with regards to accountants, company secretaries and directors. So hopefully you'll be able to take away something from this webinar today. You are welcome to ask any questions with regards to this presentation. Okay, this is me. It's just a little bit of information about me. I've been in the business since 1990. And I took Secretary over from Dora du Plessis in 2018 when she retired. And she actually built the business up to a really reliable company secretarial practice since 1984. And that's just a short bit of the company. The table of contents that we'll discuss today will be CIPC and the Companies Act, directors, board committees, accountants and auditors, annual duties, compliance checklist, the public officer and the company secretary. I wish that we are able to discuss it more in depth, but it's 2 hours is not enough time to discuss everything that you need to say. So this is basically the priority subjects that we have for you today to have a bit of more information about. Just a little bit of a motivational quote from Steve Jobs. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't yet found it, keep looking, don't settle. Now, I am privileged to be one of the lucky people who love what I'm doing, and I love the acts and I love everything about the company's secretarial duties. It's just, I learn every day. Even if you're here for 40 years, you'll still learn something every day, especially if you deal with CIPC on a daily basis as well. Oh goodness, I'm sure you guys know how difficult it is to deal with them on a daily basis. What you should be able to get out of this presentation is to understand the purpose of the Act and the company's regulations. You'll be able to assist your clients to ensure compliance with the Companies Act and the regulations, and you will understand the functions of CIPC. We find a lot that people come into the business and they start dealing with CIPC, but they don't really know who they are. So this is just a bit of background and information on CIPC as well. Right, CIPC and the Companies Act. CIPC does the registrations of companies and cooperatives and intellectual property rights. That would be the trademarks, patents, designs and copyrights. And they also handle maintenance thereof. They also have the disclosure of information on the business registers. That will be regard to any of the mentioned entities that they register. So they have to keep record of everything that's registered and changed with them. If it's not registered with them, obviously they will not have record thereof and that they won't be able to provide you with the correct information. We do find that they sometimes don't give us the correct information. We sometimes have proof that something was registered and we give it to them and tell them, okay, this is what I want, and they come back to you and say, sorry, this is not on our records. Even if you have stamped copies of that was previously stamped. And then usually what we do is just to submit the documents again on behalf of our clients and see that it's registered. They also promote the education and awareness of company and intellectual property law, as well as compliance with relevant legislation. They ensure efficient and effective enforcement of the relevant legislations. They also monitor compliance with and contraventions rather of financial reporting standards, and they make recommendations there to the Financial Reporting Standards Council. They also handle licensing of business rescue practitioners and report and assist with research and advise the Minister of Trade and Industry on matters of national policy relating to company and intellectual property law. Now, a little bit more information on the structure, the organizational structure. At the top, you have the commissioner, who is Advocate Rory Voller at this stage, then internal audit, and they have the governance, risk and compliance section. That's the people where you can go to if you know that a company is not complying with the rules and with the requirements of the Companies Act. Then they have the strategy section. Under that, the business, regulation and reputation group, innovation and creative group, business intelligence and systems group, the corporate services group, finance and procurement. And then below the business and regulation and reputation group, you have the corporate registers, enforcement and compliance, and education policy and legal. Beneath the innovation and creativity group, you have the patents, designs and innovation and creative industries. Business intelligence and systems group, enterprise information management and assurance, ICT service delivery, and ICT strategy and architecture. Under corporate services group, they have facilities and security, client engagement and channel management, and human capital. This is just a bit of the structure so that we can have an idea of how they work. The Companies Act regulations, in terms of Regulation 1 of the Companies Act of 2008, CIPC is authorised to issue guidelines and practice notes with regards to services that they render. And in terms of Regulation 4.1a of the Companies Act, regulations, the CIPC may issue guidance notes with information on recommended procedures, standards, or forms required. That's where they tell you what they want you to do and how they want you to submit your documents. Now, guidelines set out the recommended procedures, standards, or forms with advice on what constitutes best practice on a matter. A practice note is a document issued by CIPC that sets out the procedures that they follow. Procedures that we must follow when dealing with them, and their interpretation of or intended manner of applying a provision of the Act or regulations. Now, this is the specific authority granted to CIPC to change their procedure of filing documents as they deem fit. So if they issue a note and they see it's not working, then they may change it on their own authority. Guidelines may be issued at any time by publishing a notice thereof to general public in the Gazette, any newspaper, on the CIPC website, or any other publication which provides information to the public in general. Practice notes are published at any time also in the Gazette and may amend or withdraw any practice note at any time by publishing a notice again in the Gazette. All guidelines or practice notes must be consistent with the Companies Act and the Companies Act regulations, and where a notice is in contravention of or inconsistent with the Act or with the regulations, the requirements of the Act or the regulations will prevail. So if you can prove to CIPC that they're wrong, then they will have to withdraw their notes. CIPC remains, or rather maintains, the records of all notices, including every guideline or practice note that it has published and not withdrawn on the website. So if it's withdrawn, then there will be a notice that says the withdrawal of such and such notice or guideline.
I hope that you enjoyed that video. For more of our webinar videos, go to www.accountingacademy.co.za. Thank you and have a lovely day.